Arlington joins a regional effort to curb the spread of COVID-19. Massachusetts receives the first shipment of vaccines and releases rollout plans. And Arlington's favorite bookstore continues to spread the joy of reading. That and more up next on ACMi News.
From McLennan Park to Spy Pond, from Poets Corner to the Mystic River, we have Arlington covered. We're your neighbors, a friend you can turn to. This is ACMi News.
Hello everyone and welcome to ACMi News. I'm James Milan. As you can tell, snowed in and anchoring from home this week. Arlington, along with several neighboring communities, has joined hands in a regional effort to combat the spread of COVID-19, one that goes beyond the recent rollbacks announced by the governor. Arlington is seeing cases increase at an alarming rate as described by town officials. Senior news producer Anim Osmani has the story.
The Commonwealth is rolling back to Phase 3, Step 1 of its reopening plan, but several local municipalities, including Arlington, are taking extra precautionary measures in a regional effort to help curb the spread of COVID-19. Arlington has joined with Boston, Somerville, Newton, and other area towns and cities to roll back into a modified version of Phase 2, Step 2. The new COVID restrictions take effect on December 16th and will stay in effect for at least 3 weeks. As of Monday, December 14th, the state reported 3,572 new cases and a total of 72,883 active cases. Arlington itself has a total of 807 confirmed cases as of December 15th, according to town data.
I think as many communities are seeing, and I know as we're seeing statewide, we're very, very strongly now seeing the second surge. For all of the month of November, we had approximately 180 cases. And at this midpoint in November, we're already over 170 new cases. So we're really seeing many more cases, much more transmission in the community, which is causing concern in the community. There's been a group of mayors and managers that have been talking and working on issues related to the pandemic right from the start. Throughout the entire pandemic, Mayors Curtatone in Somerville and Mayor Kim Driscoll in Salem have been leaders of those discussions. More recently, Mayor Walsh has taken a strong leadership role. And on Monday, with the announcement of the rollbacks of both Boston, Arlington, and several other communities to Phase 2, Step 2, that was really Boston taking the lead and other communities, including Arlington, deciding to follow their lead.
Under the new restrictions, museums, indoor historic sites, movie theaters, and indoor recreational venues are closed to the public. Fitness clubs and health clubs aren't allowed to operate, provided that one-on-one sessions by appointment only are allowed in the facilities. Indoor recreational athletic facilities are also closed to the public, with the exception of youths 18 and under. Restaurants are allowed to operate, continuing to follow all state standards and guidelines. However, bar seating is prohibited. These new restrictions might have a significant impact on Arlington businesses. Town manager Adam Chapdelaine is aware of the problem and reminds us that the town is committed to mitigating the effects as best as it can while continuing to prioritize the community's public health.
We do make these decisions with public health being the priority, but understanding the significance of the economic impact. We made available just on Monday a further community development block grant business relief application that's now available on the town website for businesses to be able to access. And there's still the COVID-19 relief fund that's been sponsored by charitable donations from those living and working in town for businesses to be able to consider filing an application for relief. So, you know, we said during Thanksgiving, and we're going to say the same for Christmas, New Year's, and other associated holidays, we really think only spending time with your direct household is advisable. There's lots of asymptomatic spread. You don't always know if you have COVID-19 and could very much risk spreading it to family members who are more vulnerable to the disease than you are. So our advice certainly is we're in what might actually be the toughest period of this pandemic, where we're in a winter season, the disease is surging, and vaccines are just being rolled out now. And it's going to take a while to get them out to the broader population. So our advice definitely is, over these next couple of weeks, at the least, really limit your interactions with people outside of your household and do all you can to prevent transmission.
As a reminder, the face covering order, travel order, and stay-at-home advisory are still in effect. The town will continue to monitor the spread of COVID-19 and provide constant updates on its efforts to combat the spread by updating its websites and via other means of communication. For ACMi News, I'm Anim Osmani.
Thanks, Anim. On a more positive note regarding COVID-19, the Baker-Polito administration announced that the Commonwealth received their first shipment of COVID-19 vaccines from Pfizer. ACMi's In-Young Kim has the details about the state's plan for distribution.
Finally, some exciting news. The first COVID-19 vaccine arrived in Massachusetts on Monday and began to be distributed to local hospitals. The vaccines were manufactured by Pfizer and BioNTech. They will require 2 doses spaced 3 to 4 weeks apart. The state expects the first 300,000 doses of the vaccine to be delivered by the end of this year. However, many Arlington residents may not be eligible to get vaccinated until next year. Phase 1 of the state's distribution plan will run from December to February and includes hospital workers, healthcare workers who are directly exposed to COVID-19, and long-term care facilities to receive the vaccines first. Phase 2 includes adults who are older than 65, individuals with comorbidities, and public workers. The general public will get access to vaccine starting around April or May. On December 10th, the town's Health and Human Services Director, Kristen Bongiorno, talked a little about the vaccine plan and its rollout.
So the vaccine rollout will happen in various phases. What we do know is that the first phase will go to the highest risk individuals. So people that are working directly with COVID patients. So hospital workers, people that are working, from the nurses and physicians, respiratory therapists, to the people that are delivering the food and people that are cleaning the rooms of COVID patients. So they're really looking at who in the hospital is most at risk. So those are the first round. Everybody can look at the list and the phases and the dates and timeline. But I think, it's for us here in local public health, it's really one step at a time.
A second vaccine, this one manufactured by Moderna, is getting reviewed by the FDA. Hopefully, the distribution of new vaccines to the public will happen soon. For ACMi News, I'm In-Young Kim.
Thanks for that, In-Young. The Arlington High School Drama Department is excited to debut the first ever virtual theater production in the school's long history. ACMi News reporter Maxim Isaac wanted to know, how'd they pull it off?
After 6 weeks and nearly 70 hours of rehearsal, Arlington High School is raising the virtual curtain on their annual fall play.
The only time we've done anything in person was to pick up props and costumes. All rehearsals and performance has been online.
Lights, camera, action. The high school's drama department found a way for the show to go on with their first ever virtual play. After 20 years at AHS, director Michael Byrne opted to conduct their fall production over Zoom.
I got the go-ahead and support from my department head, the principal, the vice principal, all the deans, and the superintendent. I think they're happy something is going on at all. And students are being engaged in creative ways and not just academic ways.
He chose the Christmas classic, It's a Wonderful Life. It will be the radio play version of the 1946 film about an angel sent from heaven who erases a man's existence to show him how life would be if he had never been born.
So It's a Wonderful Life is a story about connection. And it's a story about how one man doesn't understand how profoundly he influences all of those around him. And sometimes by very, very, very little things. And the idea that we are connected, no matter what. Even if we're connected over Zoom, we are still connected. No matter how difficult life gets, there are things to celebrate in it.
Daddy! Zuzu, my little ginger snap, how do you feel?
Fine! The play is a live streaming production with performances on December 17th, 18th, and 19th, starting at 7:30 p.m. There's even a special musical collaboration towards the end. Head to their Facebook page for ticket information. Prices range from $10 to $25.
The Drama Guild is self-funded. So all of the money for the shows, for paying for rights, paying for costumes, any of those things, comes from ticket sales.
Hey, Ernie. Hi, Ernie.
Hiya, George.
Hi, George. Hey, I'm a rich tourist today. How about driving me home in style? Hop
yes,
in, Your Highness. Hop in.
Senior Eli Shoebaggage plays Bert in the play and explains one way in which this Zoom production is more socially inclusive.
There's a bit more separation when you're doing stuff in person, because I feel like pre-established friend groups are definitely a bit clearer in that scenario, as are age differences, whereas with Zoom, those aren't as clear.
Director Burns shares that the virtual aspect has expanded their audience because some students have families tuning in from England and even Australia. But don't forget to tune in tonight for their second performance at 7:30 Eastern Time. For ACMi News, I'm Maxim Isaac.
New books, and used ones as well, including the works of local authors. Here's reporter Kristen Bullier with this profile of the Book Rack, the beloved bookshop in the center that offers all the above.
The Book Rack, a place where Arlingtonians have been able to come for the past 45 years, if they're looking for a great deal on a used book or a good deal on a new one. I spoke with shop owner Mike Bulio about how things have changed in a year where people have been staying home and reading more.
We've got our inventory available to browse online now, and so that's been strange. You know, people are finding stuff that we don't even know we had sometimes, which is new for us. But it's great, and it just widens the appeal of some of the things we have that might be hidden in a corner.
You can see the change too, with bags of books ordered online or through the phone, packed up and ready to go. You can also be like Mike O'Toole, a loyal Book Rack customer who enjoys the experience of stepping in and seeing familiar faces in person.
I think the money stays in town. I also think there's a whole lot more personality because it's people you get to know. I also think that local retailers, local coffee shops, local bookstores are so much a part of what makes a town vibrant. It's why I want to live in Arlington. And you know, they're struggling now.
Right here at the front of the store, you can find books that have been written by local authors here in Arlington. And I had the pleasure of speaking with former Arlington Poet Laureate Kathy Desjardins.
I think the Book Rack is great. The copies there are all signed. Mine are anyway, and it's just like one less thing to get from Amazon, right, over the holidays if you go to the Book Rack. Mike just does a great job with that. So, I mean, the Book Rack has been really at the heart of it. We're all maniac readers in our family, so it's really been right there in the center and valiantly carrying on now. So it's great to have that interactive relation with it.
She even gave me an exclusive read to one of her favorite poems, As If Hydrangeas.
As if hydrangeas could mend a heart, even indigo hydrangeas, creamy centers spumed green, blue hydrangeas, bought in winter, carried paper wrapped into the cold, a thing to carry besides useless sorrow for my daughter, whose first sweetheart has become her first heartbreak.
The Yoga Effect, a work not curated by one but two of our Arlington natives. Here I spoke with Holly Rossi and Liz Owens about how they combined one's yoga expertise with another's writing experience to create an outlet to help people fight anxiety and even depression.
There's so much to love about the Book Rack, and I personally value it as a customer and a reader as much as I value it as an author. And Mike certainly invests significant energy and makes wonderful space for local authors. As far as what we hope that the Yoga Effect offers to the community, I think it starts with the fact that the emotional impact of the pandemic just really can't be overstated. And when we were working on this book, of course, we had no idea just how sadly relevant it would be to the time in which it was published. But when we look back, I think we can hope that our book was actually published right on time to meet people right where they are. And where people are is at home.
It's for our community, and then way beyond it, it's for anyone who's willing to, like Holly says, anybody who's willing to take a little time and practice at home, since we are at home. And we designed the book specifically so that it would be accessible.
So community is what keeps us in business, like the sense of community, people feeling like this is their neighborhood bookstore. And so seeing their next door neighbor or a fellow PTO parent or, just another friend that they know from this, who's written this amazing book, and there it is on the bookstore shelves. Like, it's great to have that.
For ACMi News, I'm Kristen Bullier.
You may recall the series of community conversations that took place earlier this year around racial equity and inclusion. Well, coming out of that, there was broad consensus that we want to continue to educate ourselves as a community around these vexing and vitally important issues. The next installment of that educational process begins in January, as Town Manager Adam Chapdelaine explains.
We've launched an invitation for people to register to a series, register for a series of racial justice teach-ins. And these have been crafted by Alensa Michelle, our race and equity consultant from Powerful Pathways, as well as working with Jill Harvey, our Director of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. And what we're asking people to do is sign up, hopefully by December 21st, to participate in a series of 5 teach-ins. That would occur starting in January, occurring on January 5th and 26th, then February 16th, and then March 9th and March 30th. And what these will be focused on is really teaching a cohort of 60 people the basics of racial justice and all of the terms that surround issues of racial justice. So that as a community, we can start to build capacity around not just understanding these issues, but then taking action to address these issues. So we're calling this a pilot because we're only able to facilitate this dialogue with 60 registrants. But if it's successful, this is the type of work that we want to broaden in the community so that we can continue, not just to talk about the need to change, but to actually take action on that change. And we're doing internal work that we've talked about before, training with the National League of Cities, but we feel like we need to parallel that work with the community, and that's what we're trying to achieve with these teach-ins.
You can register for the teach-ins on the town's website, and remember to do so by December 21st. On September 19th, Arlington holds a wreath-laying ceremony at Mount Pleasant Cemetery, joining with 2,100 other communities across the country to celebrate National Wreaths Across America Day. This annual tradition started in 1992 and consists of volunteers placing wreaths at designated veteran burial lots. This is the first time that Arlington is participating, and Jeff Chunglo, Director of Veterans Affairs here in town, tells us what this event is all about.
So we're going to lay wreaths on all the designated veteran lots at Mount Pleasant Cemetery. And then in addition, we're going to have a remembrance tree. So this is going to be a tree that, people can hang a ribbon, and anything that they'd like on the tree to thank a current serving member of the military or a past veteran, just a way to recognize them. And then we'll also have a special wreath laying for our Gold Star parents. I would hope that maybe there'd be a little more community involvement. This year, obviously it's tough. And even with the event on Saturday, we want to make sure that, we adhere to all the local safety guidelines for COVID. So mask wearing, social distancing, all those things. But, again, it's been a very strange year. We haven't really been able to pull the public in to a lot of the events, and hopefully that'll change next year. I'm looking forward to the event. I think it will be nice. I think it's a great first step for the town, and it's a tradition that I would like to see carried out every year.
Chunglo hopes to see the program expand to place wreaths at every veteran's grave. Winter break is coming for Arlington Public Schools, but there's still a lot of information to share. So let's turn it over to our Studio B crew and welcome the debut of Gabe Rothenberg, here with this week's installment of the Ponderscope.
Hello, and welcome back to this week's edition of the Ponderscope, your Arlington High School news, updates, and more. The Arlington High School Drama Guild had its first performance of It's a Wonderful Life last night. Tickets are still available for today's showing, December 18th, and tomorrow's performance, December 19th. Tickets are $10 per person or $25 per household. All shows are being live streamed starting at 7:30 p.m., running for about an hour. Tickets are linked below. The French Club will be holding its first meeting on Wednesday, December 23rd at 1 p.m. The meeting is open to all who wish to join and will be a short, festive holiday Zoom where participants will share holiday traditions and recipes. Just a quick reminder, the first deadline for purchasing a yearbook is today, the 18th. After today's deadline, prices of the yearbook will go from $65 to $85. Please contact Ms. Donahue by emailing adonahue@arlington.k12.ma.us with any questions. The link to purchase yearbooks is down below, and the final deadline for yearbook orders is on March 1st. As I'm sure you all know, the much-needed winter break is approaching. School will be dismissed on Wednesday the 23rd, so there will be no advisory. Classes will start up again on January 2nd. Tonight marks the end of Hanukkah, but Christmas is just around the corner, with the New Year trailing right behind it. Kwanzaa, a week-long celebration of life, begins on December 26th and ends on January 1st. Our team would like to wish everyone a happy and healthy holidays, and we will see you all in 2021. I'm Gabe Rothenberg, and this has been the Ponderscope. Have a great break.
Well, that'll do it for this week. Thanks for tuning in. This is the last newscast of the year, so we want to wish you a happy and safe holiday break and a happy new year. For ACMi News, I'm James Milan, and we'll see you in 2021.
You can always check out our latest segments and newscasts on the web at acmi.tv/news. And don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at ACMi News. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. You'll find us at youtube.com/ACMi News. If you have any news tips for us or wish to become a citizen journalist, we'd love to hear from you. Email us at news@acmi.tv or stop by ACMI Studio A at 85 Park Avenue.